What's up, everybody? It's Josh, and we have a brand new Andor trailer, and thank goodness it's so freaking dope because we also got news that the show's being delayed into September. Yeah, now we'll get the first 3 episodes of Andor coming out on September 21st rather than the first maybe 1 or 2 coming out in just a month. But look, man, we don't have to dwell on that. I already raged out about that in a stream, and we'll have that clipped out as a clip on our clips channel as well. And yes, it does really irritate me that they would delay the show this late into the game. However, this trailer is freaking dope. So let's break this crazy trailer down and talk about why this may well be the best Star Wars show on Disney Plus ever. And one of the craziest things about Andor that you can just tell right away is the scope of the show. As seen in these shots in the hills, the establishing shot, and as this crazy Star Destroyer comes right over the top of this lady here, you can just tell that this show doesn't utilize the volume. And in fact, Tony Gilroy just came out in an Empire magazine article today and said they're old school. They didn't use the volume for this show. And despite the volume being incredible technology, it has hurt the visual fidelity for certain shows, most notably Kenobi. There were just shots in Kenobi that looked so weird, perspective changes that didn't make any sense, and it left the show feeling very small. This show is flipping that on its head and going big. This shot in particular with the Star Destroyer going overhead really evokes similar feelings to me as the very first Star Wars film, which showed the Tantive 4 being chased down by Vader's Star Destroyer, and it's just huge in scope, and so that feels very right. We cut to this shot here of a quarry where the Empire is obviously harvesting raw materials from a planet, and we believe this is a young Cassian Andor. And this shot very successfully illustrates one of the big problems with the Empire itself. Juxtapose this shot against shots later in the trailer of Coruscant, and you'll sort of get the vibe that a lot of the core planets and the high affluent folk on Coruscant are doing quite well, but planets out in the mid-rim or the outer rim are being stripped dry of their resources and often left barren in order for the Empire to thrive. And we see young Cassian Andor sneaking into a ship or a facility, possibly even a facility that has been abandoned. And this is intercut with shots of the Senate chambers and a bunch of different Imperials as Cassian Andor's Diego Luna is talking about how fat and privileged the Empire is, and they're so blind that people like him could sneak into their midst. And again, we cut back to young Cassian, and somebody's either sleeping in this broken down facility or this is a crashed facility, and some people are hurt in the crash. And we cut to a shot of Andor and some other Imperial officers. And it's very likely here that Cassian has infiltrated the Empire, just like what he was talking about in his voiceover. We cut to a shot of Stellan Skarsgård, who is at the forefront of 2 different timeline stories here in this trailer. Here he's possibly recruiting Cassian Andor. We cut to shots of the Empire coming down in full force on a different planet, and this Imperial officer here, this officer is played by Denise Gao. Different Imperial officers dressed in kind of a local garb, so it's probably the local police, are seen arresting this lady. We cut to a shot of a broken down shipyard here, and it's possible that members of the rebellion are trying to scavenge supplies to build up their own armaments from these different stations all around the galaxy. It's possible that this is Corellia. And we see Andor wearing a similar uniform to the scene we saw before with Skarsgård, where he's recruiting him. Another shot of Skarsgård landing on a planet, and this is likely Jeddah, as we do see 2 tubes and a bunch of the rebels that work with Saw Gerrera. There seems to be some kind of a conflict and a gunfight here, and he does have a cool interaction with Saw Gerrera. And again, even though we did more or less know that Saw Gerrera was going to be in here, it is really cool to see Forrest Whitaker coming back to the role, and he's obviously much younger than the version of him we see in Rogue One. We next cut to some action shots with some fighting and some riot shields and some Republic commando carriers flying down. Andor is seen running, and we do see this local police in these blue and orange uniforms, which do appear to be on this junkyard planet, perhaps Corellian officers. The trailer then cuts to a bunch of different shots. You see here parts of Coruscant. You see again what appears to be Corellia with more Imperials arriving. We see this Imperial officer again, her with other Imperial officers planning some kind of a siege on this village. Andor and the woman before who was being arrested having a moment, her being confirmed as arrested. We then cut to some scenes of the Skarsgård character on Coruscant in the past just being an Imperial senator. He has a meeting with Mon Mothma, and then we cut to him in the future with his hair cut and him likely now on the run. He is fighting against the Empire to make some kind of escape, and we cut back and forth to the Senate chambers to a crazy lavish party with the different senators, with Mon Mothma talking about what she's actually doing and the fact that the Empire is not onto her. There are even more shots of Death Troopers coming for other dissenters, an explosion, more people talking about the rebellion, Cassian Andor in that military garb, some kind of crazy spaceship gun battle. We get shots on a crazy bridge where they sort of pop off of it with grapple guns like Batman. Maybe this is a prison facility like what we saw in The Mandalorian. The trailer then cuts to a bunch of people in white uniforms running down a hallway, this also seemingly a prison of sorts, and it seems like they're going to be escaping. We then get a shot of this bug-eyed, four-armed dude injecting somebody with something, shots of open rebellion, shots of the dissenter from before with a staff, and then this beautiful sequence here of fighting in space in what looks like some kind of spaceship or meteor shower drawn out over top of a planet, which cuts into Cassian fighting inside of a TIE fighter against other TIE fighters. And so, yeah, this trailer looks phenomenal, dude. It's got a ton of things going on. I really like how it's going to set up what's going on Coruscant and also all the little tragedies that are happening around the mid-rim and the outer rim. We're really going to see Cassian Andor be recruited, come into his own, and Skarsgård's character having interactions with Saw Gerrera and just trying to bring all of the different dissenters together to have an organized rebellion seems to be a big part of what's going to go down in Andor Season 1. The show generally looks great. Like, the scope of it looks fantastic. It looks really gritty. It looks like they spent a lot of money on it. The action looks very, very fun. Wild sequences, tons of crazy space battle stuff going on. The rebellion seems budgeting, disorganized, chaotic, and very gritty, while the Empire seems really oppressive and like it has this crazy authoritarian grip on all of the galaxy, which feels perfect for Star Wars. And I truly believe that the Andor show has the potential to be the best Star Wars show that Disney has done yet and get so many fans to cheer in unison at these glorious, glorious episodes. And despite the delay, which I am still pretty irritated about, it is dope that we'll be getting 3 episodes all in a single night. That's like an hour and a half of content, and I think it's really going to get us attached to this series and attached to these characters in the plot lines. So I can't wait for that. We will be doing watch parties and breakdowns when that goes on. So let me know your thoughts about the trailer, and if there's anything I missed in the comments section here. Come on by a live streaming channel if you have any real big questions you want to ask my opinion about something right then and there, and smash like on this video if you enjoyed it. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.